Can I get a mic check? 1, 2.
Can I get a hi?
Oh, yeah. Let's get this fucking going. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Nick's Picks. It is week 1 of the NFL season. Ben, we're back. We're doing it again for a 5th year in a row. The preseason video was a banger. I'm putting it out
Honestly,
there.
yeah.
Preseason video is a banger. If you haven't checked that out yet, link in the description for the full playlist of Nick's Picks Season 5. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But yes, we're in year 5 of Nick's Picks. Ben coming off his first victory. It only took him 4 years to get it, but his first victory in Nick's Picks.
Look, we gotta look up from here, all right?
Look, obviously, Nick's Picks is a little bit different this year. We're going a little bit more podcast style here, where it's not just like, hey, I'm the host. Ben, here's a question for you. Ben answers question, back to Nick talking the rest of the video. It's not going to work like that. I mean, I am going to probably talk for most of the videos. There was obviously no games last week for us to go over. The preseason doesn't really fucking matter. So this is the point of the show where we would go over the last week's scores. But we don't have those this week. I figured this week we will do what we didn't do in the preseason picks, and that is give an MVP, a couple rookie of the years, and maybe a dark horse team that we didn't have in the playoffs that we think could surprise people and make a playoff push this season. So let's start it with the MVP. Now, we and Ben have already exchanged texts. We already know all of our finalists for all of these. Yeah, you know what? Slower's going to love it. But yeah, I am going with Jordan Love. Like I said, I do think the Packers are going to have a stellar season. I had them winning the NFC North. So I think Jordan Love is going to put up unbelievable numbers. Will he be the best player in football this year? Probably not, but it's going to go to a quarterback. So, you know, I do think he's probably statistically going to have one of the best quarterback seasons out there. I'm actually surprised by yours because
I know, right? The
let's
burn from like how we started this whole thing with me just bashing Buffalo, and I got Josh Allen as mine.
See, my problem with it though is who does he have? Who is he like? How is Josh Allen going to put up these numbers?
I think because I think it's the fact that I think he's going to put basically the whole team on his back. I mean, he does have James Cook, the running back, so doesn't have to at least run the ball as much. But I think the fact that he doesn't have to necessarily throw directly to a quote unquote number one receiver. And you can make it the case even for Jordan Love. He doesn't really have a number one receiver. I mean,
Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs. I mean, they have pieces there.
Yeah.
With Buffalo, I only know of Keon Coleman. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a stretch. I will admit it's a stretch. We both know that. Like, obviously, the best quarterback is Mahomes. He probably could win it this year if he wanted to.
Yeah, and I didn't want to go with Mahomes. I felt like that would be
we all know he probably could win it, but we're not going to.
Now, you went with the obvious pick, though, when it comes to the offensive rookie of the year. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go a little bit wild, but at the same time, I had to do it. I had to go with Malik Neighbors. I mean,
will say he has a chance. I'm not saying he doesn't.
I would say he probably, as far as wide receivers go, has the best chance because as much as Daniel Jones is awful, he's going to still have a better season than Marvin Harrison. Like there's a lot more wrong with the Arizona Cardinals than just Kyler Murray. And I don't think Kyler Murray is quite as bad as Daniel Jones, but I think everything else around the Cardinals is going to make it so that Marvin Harrison is going to be second to Malik Neighbors here. Or at least I'm just hoping. I mean, I'm kind of being a homer here with this pick.
I think you also have a good case because unlike Harris, you can use Neighbors in like more packages. Like you can give the ball to him in more creative ways than Marvin Harrison. Again, I'll admit, yes, I'm going with the easy one, which is
and if this was for points, I would have gone with Caleb Williams too. Yeah. I mean, this is
my mentality is also the fact that you and I both know it. The quarterback, it always goes to a quarterback. Plus, if they do at least head towards a somewhat winning record, I think it's hard. And he does well. If he does shit, then obviously I could definitely see.
He has so much talent around him. There's no reason he should do shit though.
That's the thing. So I feel and maybe they might look at it saying that might also hurt him. Oh, of course he's doing well. He has the best situation. So.
But as far as quarterbacks go, I don't see any rookie quarterback having a stellar season beyond Caleb Williams. And it's not to say that all of the rookie quarterbacks are bad. It's just the situations that the rest of them got put into, and somehow the number 1 overall pick got put into the best situation, which never happens. But moving on to defensive rookie of the year, you again, this is the one I was going to go with, but I kind of took a pivot here. So you went with Dallas Turner, and I think that's a good pick. I think that's a solid option. The Vikings always seem to have a good defense, and
always a good pass rusher. It's always like they always have one good guy.
I do agree. I feel like he's going to fit in perfectly in that Minnesota Vikings defense. I'm just on the fact that Philadelphia last year just struggled so hard in the secondary, and the fact that they got who was argued to be the number 1 corner in the draft to fall all the way to their pick. Wild. And he's going to be put into where he's going to have to put in a heavy workload right away. They had no secondary last year, none. They did add a few other pieces around him this year, but I do think Quinyon Mitchell, however you say his name, sorry if I fucking butchered that first name, but I think he's going to have a fantastic rookie season.
Yeah, I mean, I like Dallas Turner because having a good edge rusher is always good to have. Plus, I thought you were gonna pick him. He has number 15. He wears it. I thought if anyone should have picked him, it should have been you.
To be fair, I didn't know that. To be fair, I did not know that.
I found it out like 2 minutes ago. Like before we sat down recording, I saw his picture. Oh, he's number 15.
Moving on to our last little pick here before we get into our week 1 predictions. It is a dark horse team. So we didn't get a chance to talk about teams too much in the preseason video. I kind of tried to keep it short, but there are a few teams that we do kind of believe in that we don't quite have in the playoffs, but could easily make a playoff push. And both of our teams happen to be in the AFC, which I think just really proves to the fact that the NFC outside of their division winners is just not very tough. But in the AFC, on the other hand, I think it is really going to be a fight for this wild card. And I do think that if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy all season long, I think the Colts can be dangerous this season. And yes, that is a big if.
That's true. I mean, mine is also a big if because mine is the Chargers.
Yours is more just along the line, not so much with Herbert or anything like that, but is how much does coach make a difference? How good of a coach really is Harbaugh?
Yeah, I mean, it also would prove how good Harbaugh is because the fact that they lost Keenan Allen, they lost Mike Williams, so now they just don't really have any receivers. They don't have anything really. So I could see the Chargers still doing decent because I do think Herbert is a very good quarterback. I think he's very talented. I think he can still elevate his team to at least above 500 record. And I think the other part of that is going to come down to Harbaugh. So we'll see. At least he doesn't worry about in college. If he ever goes back to college, he can't coach anymore, basically. But he's not worried about that.
All right. And now for the moment you guys have all been waiting for, our week 1 predictions. Let's pop them up on the screen right now so you guys can see exactly what we have brewing this week. And in fact, we are not differing on much this week. We only have 2 games that we differ on. So let's start with those 2 games. It is the Carolina Panthers and the Saints. That is one of the games that we differ on. We also differ on the Seattle Seahawks going up against the Denver Broncos. And we talked about this a little beforehand, and there's not a whole lot of disagreement here. It's not like either of us think that we're totally crazy. I mean, you're kind of on the fence here with the Panthers thing, but my reasoning at least made sense. My reasoning made sense, though. Basically, what I explained to Benjamin here is that every year in week 1 or 2, we have a really shit team that's going to finish the year competing for a number 1 draft pick, not competing for anything else. But in the first week or so of the season, they play pretty well, and everyone thinks that, oh my God, they actually might be a lot better than we all thought, or we all gave them credit for. And then the rest of the season, they actually play real competition, and we all figure it out. And I think that's going to be the Panthers this year. I think the Panthers get kind of an easier first game against the Saints than I feel like they could have gotten. And, I don't think the Saints are going to be all that good this year. I think Derek Carr is probably going to get benched at some point this season for Spencer Rattler, and it kind of starts with him blowing a game against the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the Saints so much. So
so you're okay with it?
I got walk around soap after this, praising but I just don't see there's nothing good about the Panthers. There's just nothing good. Outside of Bryce Young. I still believe in Bryce Young.
See, that's just it. And maybe Bryce Young has this breakout game for year 2, you know?
I just don't see it happening. I really don't. Granted, I don't see the Saints going further than this, so like I could almost argue that mine would be the same. I mean, granted, the Panthers are way
Right.
worse than the Saints, so it's not as strong of an argument. But
And the-
I just don't believe in the Panthers.
Right.
much.
And the
I
Seahawks
really
Broncos, I mean, we just kind of figured that was a 50-50. Like
yeah.
yeah, it's whether or not we're about to find out if Bo Nix is actually pretty good or if he's not very good at all. All right, we got to talk about our own games, obviously. Giants going up against the Vikings. I'm shocked you picked the Giants. Like, you knew I had to. It's Sam Darnold. And he's going to have Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence running at him. There's no way Sam Darnold performs in this game. Although Jay Jettas might torch our secondary a lot.
I will say this right now. The Giants are going to win this game, but I think Jefferson's going to have like almost 150 yards and like I have him only scoring 14 points. He's probably going to have both their touchdowns.
There's Ben's bold prediction for the episode. You have the Falcons winning by a few more points than I do. Look, I don't believe in the Steelers. I just think that you guys always play to the other team's level. So I feel like it's going to be a very close game.
On that one.
I feel like it's going to be a close game. And I feel like your offense is going to struggle against the Steelers defense. That's about it.
Also, my main thing isn't really that the offense is, I think the offense is going to struggle. My main thing is I think the Falcons defense is going to do really well against the Steelers offense. Because I just don't think the Steelers offense, it's Russell Wilson. The one that I actually had on mine was the Texans. We both have them beating the Colts. I didn't see how much you...
Actually, that is interesting.
You actually had them... Yeah, they had a lot higher scoring game than
that is interesting that you say that. I was going to go out and say that we should talk about this game because I really feel like if we were still doing 2-point conversions, I would probably put mine on the fact that this is going to be the highest offensive game of the week. I think this game is going to put up a lot of offensive numbers.
I don't see that. I would say that would be more so the Lions and Rams, which I think is Sunday night. That's my...
I did that. I had that higher. I had that higher scoring, and we kind of have some very similar scores for that
1
game.
point.
Yeah.
1 point difference. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that Texans game, I think CJ Stroud's going to go off, and I think Anthony Richardson might as well.
The only reason why I don't have the Texans having more is just because you're adding a very high-powered weapon in Stephon Diggs, and I'm not saying CJ Stroud's going to struggle. I think it's just whenever you get a new target, especially one that requires the ball so much, you gotta it's gonna take time. Even when Josh Allen had Diggs, it took time for them to get acclimated. It takes time for you to get a relationship working with your number one receiver. And plus, we'll see what happens. I think the Texans defense is gonna really shut down this Colts. I hope Richardson does well, but that Texans defense also got revamped too. The whole team basically did.
My biggest notes for the week, honestly, I'm interested to see if Aaron Rodgers makes it further than 4 plays into another Monday night game that they're opening up. That's crazy that it's a Monday night game again.
That's also one of my notes. I have on there saying healthy possible Rodgers for a whole season.
Right, or at least get past the first quarter, maybe.
Just
first drive.
Yeah.
First drive, I'd be happy. First down. Get a first down before you dip.
Who was it? I think he was on the Niners now. Because he was on the Bills last season, and he tackled Rodgers, and it caused him to tear his Achilles. And now he's on the Niners. So if he does it again,
that would be crazy. That's a hell of a script. The other note is that the Packers decided to wear green to Brazil. So
yeah, I know.
That might put a damper on my MVP selection if Jordan Love is to get, killed.
Apparently.
For all intents and purposes, this is a joke that probably shouldn't be a joke. And I hope that everyone is safe.
2 green teams.
Why? Yeah, why? Why would you have 2 green teams go to a country where green is not allowed?
Apparently, they're giving them a pass for this one game, but the fact that you had to
they already announced that the Packers already said what jerseys they're wearing. It's green. Beyond that, there's really not a whole lot of games to go through beyond the game that you guys are going to be watching tonight. And in my opinion, the game of the week, rematch of the AFC Championship, what could potentially be the AFC Championship this upcoming year. And I am not going to lie to you, that close to picking the Ravens. That
Same.
close. Like, I really, really do think that the Ravens win this game. I really do think it, but I want the point.
hard.
I wanted the point, and I'm already worried about points. It's week 1. You put it in my head that you could beat me, and I don't like that. So
Psychological.
I went with the Chiefs because I kind of had a feeling you would go with the Ravens, but you didn't. So I guess in this scenario, I'm fine.
I was close.
Fuck,
myself.
dude, I really do think the Ravens win this game.
It's so. I think this can be a great game. It's really hard. I honestly think it could be. I know I have it 20-24. I honestly was tempted to make it lower scoring. I actually think this.
I think this is going to be defenses. Yeah.
But yeah, I could definitely see this. I could honestly see this being like 17-10, like just straight defensive, like slugfest. Like you have to fight for every yard because both teams have great defenses.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Hell of a treat for opening night.
Game.
Yeah, opening night of the
it's
NFL season. So I hope you guys enjoy NFL Week 1. I hope you guys have enjoyed Nick's Picks Week 1. If you did, like I said at the beginning, make sure you drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope you're liking this new podcast style where we got to just sit and talk about the games. Obviously, there's some games we didn't talk about. The Bills beating the Cardinals, we both think it. Bengals beat the Patriots, we both think. Caleb Williams' opener against the Titans. I think Will Levis might perform well, but I think the Bears get the win nonetheless. Dolphins, Jaguars, Chargers, Raiders, Cowboys, Browns. That's an interesting one we could have talked about, but you know, I do think the Cowboys come away with the win in this one. Bucks, Commies, and we did kind of hint at the Lions, Rams a little bit. But yes, we're not going to talk about every game every single week, but we're going to do our best to get the important stuff out there and give you guys some of this hilarious football personality that me and Ben seem to have when we go back and forth on our football banter. But Ben, is there anything you want to say before we head out of here for Nick's Picks Week 1?
I'm excited and terrified to see how Atlanta does, which has been my mood since the offseason.
That is true. That is true. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Wedding video coming out soon. I would give you a snippet, but I don't have it. So hopefully I'll have the final copy hopefully sometime this week. And then I'm not 100% sure when the video is going to get posted, but you know, full wedding video. Ben, you're gonna love it. There are some hilarious clips of you in there. Some just some absolute bangers in there.
I know one at least.
But hope you guys are excited for that. Hope you guys are excited for Nick's Picks Season 5. We'll see you next week. Have a great one. Peace.